getting Flash Media Encoder, you need to go to this site. This is the site, and now here you can see the list of the versions of the Flash Media Encoder. Version 3.2 and version 3.1 for Windows and Mac both. But I'm going to use the most stable version 3.1, and as this tutorial is Windows based, we're going to download it for Windows. Now for downloading it, you need to create an Adobe account. If you don't have, you can create it by yourself very easily by going here. Once you have the account, you need to log in with your login details here, which will enable you to download the Flash Media Encoder. When you sign in, the terms and condition will appear, which you have to agree in order to enable the download. So have a look and agree to this terms and conditions. Now you can see the download will be available here. The first version is 3.2 for both Windows and Mac, and the second version is version 3.1. As you can see here, but as I told you earlier, I'm going to use the most stable 3.1 version, and this tutorial is Windows based, so I'm going to download it for use on Windows. Now after downloading, you need to install, and installation is pretty simple, just like you install other softwares. Just follow the steps. And now you can launch the Flash Media Encoder. So we're gonna launch it. Now you can see this is the Flash Media Encoder. Both the input and output video is shown above. But first we're gonna see the video section. This is the video section, which you can see here. This is the recording device, the integrated webcam or any other cam which you have. The next is the format, VP6 or H.264. The input size you can select from this list. This is the bitrate and the output size. Now we're gonna see the audio section. This is the audio section. Here you can select the audio input. It can be any internal mic or line in or playback audio.
Hey guys, how's it going? My name is Speedbreaker, and in today's video I quickly want to explain how to stream with OBS on twitch.tv, and especially how to get that sexy 60 FPS going on the stream. A lot of people have been asking me this in a stream, like what my settings are in OBS and how I get that nice image quality, because I only have a upload of 3 megabits per second, which is rather low. However, the quality of my streams is pretty good actually. It's really smooth. I got that 60 FPS, but it's not really 720p due to the fact that I only have very low upload speed. But the quality is actually rather nice compared to some other streamers or other people that have actually higher upload speeds. So in this specific video, I'm just going to be talking about my settings, how to set up OBS for the first time for people who have never really streamed before. This is going to be just a quick go through how to get stuff set up. To that, I'm going to be talking about some of the more advanced features, like how to get like a webcam, how to get overlays, how to get the current playing song to display in the stream, how to get like people who subscribe to you or follow you on the stream to pop up on the stream, and stuff like that. But in today's video, we're just going to be keeping it rather basic, rather simple. So first up, you want to head over to the OBS, or rather Open Broadcaster Software website, and download OBS, of course. Now, also you want to head over to this nice little website here, catchaexception.org. And by the way, I'm going to be putting those links here in the descriptions below, so you can basically just click on it
Hello everyone and welcome to my tutorial on using the OBS Open Broadcaster software. If you don't know what OBS is an open source alternative to other streaming programs like Wirecast or XSplit. It is free, it is open source, and it's currently in beta, and it is extremely easy to use well, it's not extremely easy to use. It's easy to use in my opinion. I like it better than XSplit or Wirecast, and to me it streams a lot better. Now this tutorial is going to be for the purpose of PC streaming, as that's all I have used it for so far, and that's what I want this to be for. I will do a second one for console streaming at some point if anyone's interested. Now to acquire this program, you just need to go to obsproject.com and download it from the SourceForge, and install it just like you would any other program. Now when you open up OBS, you're going to be presented with this window, which looks kind of taunting at first, but just trust me that once you get into it, it's going to be that big of a deal. Now, the first thing you're going to want to do before you do any of this is go to your settings. In your settings, you can set up your setting profile name if you want to. I have it set up to put a notification area icon, which means a system tray icon down here. I don't want it to minimize that, but I do want that icon there just for the hell of it. Next, you click the encoding little tab over here, and CBR is what you always want to use. There's reasons why with XSplit and any other program that tell you that you should use CBR. Now, your max bitrate. That is, if you've used XSplit or any other program, that's going to be what you set for that. But if you're not sure what to set for that, do a simple speed test here. It's based on your internet, so obviously. So go to speedtest.net. Now, because I have a bunch of things going, this is probably going to give me really crappy speeds, but just doing it as an example real quick. I won't even load. There we go. Run the speed test really fast here. It's going to tell you your ping, your estimated download speed from your ISP, and your estimated upload speed. Download speed doesn't really matter for streaming as far as uploading, because it's all based on your upload speed. You do obviously want to have a decent download connection regardless, but just saying. Wow, that's actually giving me much higher speeds than... Wow. That's actually pretty impressive for my internet. Okay, well what I normally have is 1.5 megabit upload. And so if you have 1 to 1.5, you want to do around 1,000 kilobyte per second upload speed on your video bitrate, and then 128 on your audio. Since I have that, I can almost double that, but I won't mess with that right now because that's probably not an accurate result. That's really weird. Alright, and then just leave it as AAC codec, and again 128 audio is really all you need for a stream. Next, click broadcast settings. Now, depending on where you want to do it, you can tell it to save to a file or to a live stream. We're doing this for live streaming to Twitch. So click streaming service, drop down to Twitch, choose your server. I choose this one because it's closer to me, and then ask for your play path or stream key. In XSplit, it asks you, I think, to log into Twitch, but this is simply copying your stream key, and it's a little weird to find it. You go to, twitch.tv/broadcast, and it shows you, XSplit or whatever, but then you click show key, and it gives you your little stream key so that you can publish to your stream. So you just copy that off the window and paste it in there. And then you can have a start and stop stream hotkey. I'm going to actually disable those because I screwed up with those, but you can set those to whatever you want. I don't like hotkeys, so I'm not going to use it. Make sure you're hitting apply after everything or your settings will not save. Go to video. Now, this is for essentially your main monitor for where you're going to be taking video. I have my TV hooked up to my GeForce 9800 GT and then my main 660. I want it to stream video from my 660. Its base resolution is 1920 by 1080. And then you set it to a resolution downscale to 1280 by 720 because you want to be streaming to 1280 by 720 for Twitch or YouTube or whatever. So it downscales it a little bit. It has a slight pixelation to that, but if you try streaming at 1080p, it will not work. It will be very choppy and things like that. Hit apply, make sure your FPS are set to 30, and go to the audio tab. Now here's where you get to choose your audio devices. For your desktop audio device, this is going to be where either your game sound or if you want Skype sound coming out, you choose that. This is where at the moment my default for game sound comes out is my optical audio here. And then for my microphone, it's my mixer line in USB right here. You can set to use push to talk. I don't use it. You can also set a delay, but really, if you're streaming, you're going to want to just have your mic open pretty much. You can set hotkeys to mute your mic or mute the desktop. Not really necessary, but if you're, doing very specific things, you can do that as well. Now, something extremely useful for me is you can actually multiply your volume level. For the desktop, that would be absolutely terrible. You don't want to do that because your desktop audio, especially if you have your volume set to 100, by default right here, you do not want to do that because it will just clip and just completely overpower and ruin people's speakers or something. But for your microphone, mine comes in very, very quiet. So you're going to want to set it to, if you have a microphone that's very, very quiet like mine, you're going to want to pump it up a little bit. I found 2 is perfect for me. Now this is not volume balancing for the stream. That comes later. This is simply just adjusting your input levels. Hit apply, go to the advanced tab. You can change stuff here if you want to. The default settings here work very well. You want your process to remain normal no matter what. Very fast. X364 preset works perfectly fine. There's no reason to change that really. But if you want advanced options, they're here. Microphone noise gate, you can set that if you have weird microphone issues, but I don't really. Defaults for that are fine as well. You get back to here and you still just have an empty window. Kind of. Alright, first things first is you want to lower your game volume, especially if you're talking in the stream. If you're not talking, then you can mute your mic and turn your game volume all the way up. But I talk in my streams, so I want the game volume turned down. I have found that if I keep my games maximized in my volume here, so I can, or in game, so I can actually hear it, then turning it just to that last bar is the best bet. So people don't hear too much game volume, but they hear me perfectly fine. And again, that's having the microphone all the way up. Now, just like in Wirecast or XSplit, you have different scenes, and you can have multiple scenes, multiple sources on the scenes, and things like that. We're going to rename this one. This is going to be our monitor plus webcam scene. Now, this is where things get a little funky, okay? So, kind of pay a little bit of attention. With most programs, you either just do like a screen region or, a smaller screen region dedicated to a window or game capture or whatever. You have this in OBS. It's just very confusing at first if you're just looking at it to figure out exactly what those things are supposed to be. So we can set here, you can add an image, you can name it whatever, so let's name like BRB. Well, we'll do that for another stream. So let's add another scene, and this add scene. It's going to be BRB. So this is when I need to go off camera real quick and just basically cover up the entire stream. Then I will have an image for that. You just give it a name so you know what it is in the list. You can change some settings about it. And that's where chroma key comes into place or whatever, but for the purposes of this, we're not going to be doing that. Find an image you want to use. I had a wallpaper set. There it is. Just use that. It automatically fills the screen. If you want to see what you're doing as you're working on it, you preview your stream. It's not actually streaming. You can get a preview. It can tell you what it can encode at, what frame rate it's encoding at, and you get to see what's actually going on. And there's your image. So we have our BRB slide done. Back to the monitor and webcam one. First, we're going to add the monitor. We're going to add monitor capture. We're going to make this main monitor. Now, for the sake of live streaming, this is going to be when I'm not in game, when I switch to a window to show people things. And this is what that's going to be. This is going to be, my main monitor. If I get a funny picture I want to show someone from like Reddit or something, then I go there and I can be like, oh hey guys, here's Reddit. I'm showing you Reddit. And yeah. Or if you're playing like a flash game or something. Next, we're going to add the webcam to it. So you go to add and video capture device. And this is where a lot of things are. We're just going to name this web. And it brings up a list of devices that it can detect. But for it to detect game capture, you actually have to have a game up. So we're going to find a small game here that we can add, that it will add something that doesn't take up... Ooh, I know what we can do. We can just do PokeMMO. Since that's a popular series on my channel, I will use that as an example. I'm going to go full screen, and what you see may be black for a second. So I apologize. Now, one thing I do want to note that is specifically why I love using OBS so far for PC streaming is, see the frame rate down here? Obviously this is showing a picture, so it's going to hold 30 frames per second. But I can play games at the full 1920 by 1080 resolution and stream them down to 1280 by 720 without having to play in windowed mode, without having to lower my resolution, and it keeps a solid 30 frames per second and streams at a decent speed on my processing power. That will of course vary from computer to computer, but with mine it handles it much better than any other streaming software I